I'm delighted that we asked third Vice International President Patti to be our guest, and I would invite Vice District Governor Anne Ellis to introduce her.
Dr. Patti Hill is a registered psychologist and educator, and Dr. Hill has enjoyed a successful career that included public school teacher, private school principal, consultant, and college and university lecturer. Dr. Hill also mentors psychologists in training, and most recently, she managed collaborative services for cross-ministry public agencies. Dr. Hill is the owner of a professional consulting agency working with private clients and government agencies to support children with special needs and their families. And the mission of Dr. Hill's company is enabling others to excel. She is in demand as a global leadership trainer and motivational speaker throughout the International Association of Lions Clubs. Dr. Hill lives in Edmonton, Western Canada with her husband, Greg, who is also a Lion, and they have 2 children. She is active within her community, and her professional and public commitments are balanced by her personal commitment to her family. Dr. Hill has never been to Ireland, but she tells me it's on her bucket list. It's 6:30 a.m. in Edmonton now, so without further ado, it gives me the greatest of pleasure to introduce to you the Lions of District 133, the International Vice President, Dr. Patti Hill.
Thank you so much, Vice District Governor Anne. It is great to be with you this morning, this afternoon for you. And I do want to bring to each and every one of you the greetings of our International President Choi and the entire Board of Directors. I also really want to thank you, all of you who are Lions, who are demonstrating your leadership. You know, formally, we have positions of leadership, and I want this year, especially during these difficult times, to appreciate the leadership given in your district by our District Governor Des and his District Governor team, by the zone chairs who were recognized earlier, by each of you club presidents for keeping your clubs going this year. And of course, the leadership now and into the future of our international candidate, Teresa. But beyond that, I want to thank each and every one of you because you commit your volunteer hours to making your community a better place for everyone in the community. As we gather together virtually this year, and no, we didn't get to come to visit you in person, we acknowledge our world has changed. And one of the most difficult aspects about accommodating to change arises when we haven't been involved in planning it. You know, if you or I were to decide to, I don't know, it's time to trade for a new vehicle, we're ready for that change, then we would do some research, would plan for it, and we would expect to make some adjustments. You know, figuring out where the turn signal is in the new car and how far we can pull into the garage before we hit the wall. We would accommodate to those changes because the decision is ours. We planned it. We expect to make those adjustments. Some of the changes might even be ones we want, you know, the change to a smoother engine or that backup camera in the new vehicle. But it's entirely different if someone else destroys our vehicle and we're forced to drive a different one that we didn't plan for. Am I right? So none of us planned for COVID-19. None of us, unless you're an epidemiologist, planned for a pandemic. And so now, even while our governments and our healthcare systems and our education systems and our communities are all rapidly changing to accommodate these circumstances, the change has occurred in many cases more rapidly than we as humans can comfortably accommodate. And yet, on the other hand, you know, sometimes we lament that the changes aren't fast enough. You know, where's that vaccine? We want it faster, you know, but they should test it some more, so maybe we want it slower. Isn't that just human nature? We want it faster, we want it slower. We want it bigger, we want it smaller. Perhaps the truth is, there is no one solution for most situations. There's no one response that satisfies everyone. There's no one response as Lions that meets every need we see. This pandemic has taught us many things, but if we've learned nothing else, we have learned to embrace diversity as a strength. You know, as such a large global organization, we know that we need more than one way to serve. We need more than one point of view in our discussions. We need more than one idea brought to the table. And we need more than one service activity to meet the needs in our communities. So congratulations to each of you in Ireland. You have addressed really diverse needs that weren't even on our radar 2 years ago. You've demonstrated your flexibility. And I know that your community trusts you as Lions. They came to you to help spread truth about vaccines. And when they asked, you stepped up, not away. And when shields were needed, you stepped up, not away. And when diabetes screening was needed, you were there. And I know that each and every one of you involved in each and every one of these services could look back and say, this service, our response to it, our activities, they all started with diverse ideas, but they all started with Lions with a heart for service. As Lions, each and every one of you is critical. You are unique. Our communities need you today, and they're going to need you tomorrow. They need you to be a Lion with heart. We need each of you. You may not be sure that you matter to your Lions Club, but you do. You are critical. If they don't need your hands, they need your ideas. And if they don't need your ideas, well, they do. They do need your ideas. Each of you is amazing. Not every person in the world gives their free time to make a difference in the community. You are in the minority, and every one of you is important. Our communities need us today, and they'll need us tomorrow. Now, it's true what they need. Our community needs are changing, but they're not going away. Youth are growing up and they need role models. Teams need coaches. And yes, Lion John, girls need football too. Youth need to be Leos. And parents need us to take their youth off their hands for a couple of hours a week. City and county councils need partners to help maintain or develop parks. Seniors need purpose and engagement. And the epidemic of depression among our young people can be counteracted in part by helping them find purpose, finding purpose in their lives. All of these people in your communities, they need you. They need you, you Lions with heart. You know, people ask me if change is coming, and I say, no, change is here and change is constant. So the question really should be, how do we respond? What is our plan to act? What do we do now? And so I would say to you, and if you know me, you know there's going to be a call to action here. Here it is. Here's my call to action for each of you today. Do you have a pen ready? Are you going to take a note down here? Because it's more than one step. Maybe just, you know, make a note on your phone. Step 1. Are you ready? Pen in hand. Please give 15 minutes a week. Give 15 minutes a week. Call a friend, call a neighbor you haven't seen as much lately. Call a lion that you haven't seen all year because of restrictions. Call someone and ask them how they're doing. Check in with that neighbor. Call a relative. And if you haven't done this already, at your next Lions Club meeting, discuss mental wellness checks as a Lions activity of service. And then report this service. Oh, I know 34% of the clubs are reporting, but I know that all of you are serving. Please report your service to your secretary and to your service chairperson, and then please make sure that that service is noted on My Lion. This is service, these mental wellness checks. This is service to the human beings in our communities, and they all count. We all count. You all count. Step 2. Get connected. Reach out to new partners. Don't wait for City Council to call and tell you what they need. They're a little busy right now, just coping, I think. You know, call them. Reach out to your social service agencies. Reach out to that sports association. Reach out to a youth group that should be Leo's. Build new connections. You know, call someone you know in a field and say, you know, can we help? And if you don't know someone in the county office, if you don't know someone in the sports association, be brave. Call them anyway. Do that cold call to the unknown person at the other end of the phone and say, hello, I'm with the Lions, and we want to know how we can help. Build connections in your communities. Am I right, Frank? Is this a good building PR strategy? Because the truth is, we don't work in a vacuum. Being in a Lions Club just doesn't work in a vacuum. We need our community connections as much as they need us. All of us are working in a landscape that has changed. But before I close, I want to talk just a moment more about change. And I want to go not to 2019 or 20, but I want to go back 2,000 years to Socrates, who said, the secret of change is to focus all of our energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Focus all of our energy on building the new. Gosh, he figured it out 2,000 years ago, and we still have to relearn this every generation. Our young people still have to learn it. We have to relearn it, but we need to focus all of our energy on building the new. And as we build this new normal, and it will be whatever we build. As we build this new normal, I want you to know that I see you. I see your Facebook posts and your YouTube videos. I see your dancing lions. I see your tap donations. I see you serving. I see you, you creative, innovative, brave Lions, going forward, embracing new challenges, serving with kindness, serving with heart. And for all that you do, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patti. That is fantastic. I can kind of hear the applause from all over the country coming in the door and the window to me. Thank you for the inspirational words, and particularly that bit at the end that really resonates with me. You know, you've said it perfectly, something that I've tried to say many times, but never as well as you. Thank you for that. We have a couple of questions which are going to come in, and I would ask the first question. I think Kevin, have you got something you want to ask VP Patti?
Yes, District Governor. Third Vice President, Dr. Patti, while we note the Board of Directors have advised of flexibility with respect to the deadline for payment of international dues, has any consideration been given to what financial supports LCI might offer to districts in assisting clubs struggling financially and with membership retention during the current pandemic?
Absolutely. Of course, we consider this and we debate it. You might think only at 2 board meetings a year, but actually your executive officers this year have taken up a practice that we've been meeting monthly. So, we were able quickly to extend those waivers and relieves from December 30th to extend to June 30th. One of the things we do know from the feedback that we get from the international directors representing all the areas of the world is that while we have cut the budget millions of dollars, while I gave up my entire travel budget this year, while we have actually even laid off staff, what we have not done is reduce our investment in members. So what we said we would do is we would cut costs in many places, but district governor allowances would not be cut, that funding for PR grants would not be cut, that funding for our GAT teams to support you would not be cut. Now, are we going to roll dollars from LCI back into the districts physically? Yes, we are, but it's always going to be through a grant, not just through a random allocation.
Thank you, Patti.
Thank you.
John O'Donovan, how are you, sir? Have you got a question?
Well done. Vice President Patti, Lions clubs in Ireland have bought into diabetes as a signature project. And we have marked World Diabetes Day last November by contributing to the global target for completed risk assessments. Now, in your speech, you referred to building links. The lead work of Lions International was very valuable on our journey, but we see a need for LCI to facilitate the sharing of the experiences of different countries to identify case studies of good practice. Would LCI establish a series of online Lions forums which would bring together districts with common challenges and opportunities?
I really appreciate this question because we've certainly learned this year how to bring together the world, haven't we? And we got comfortable with it. So there's been a couple of things we did right off the bat as we rolled out our focus on the epidemic of diabetes. And that is that in our partnership with the World Health Organization, which used to be focused entirely on partnering around the site and Site First, we have expanded our partnership with them formally in our written agreement with them to include diabetes work and their diabetes council, their global council. So at that level, we have a direct connection with World Health to support all of our work. Secondly, on an ad hoc basis, we have had Lions leaders from around the world offer webinars and forums where clubs can share diversity in service.
Yes.
And we did one specifically focused on diabetes. Now that's a good way to exchange stories that are already videotaped and told. But as we're moving forward, I am very much in support of this idea of having open forum discussions where leaders in diabetes work in regional parts of the world, Europe, others, can cross-pollinate and share these ideas. And trust me, I have logbooks full of notes. I've been writing notes all morning, and this one is going forward with me. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Finally, Damien, you have a question.
I do. Good afternoon, International Third Vice President Dr. Hill. My name is Damien Carberry, Message in a Bottle Officer. My question is in relation to Ireland's contribution to LCI. With our past District Governor, Teresa Dineen, commencing her role as an International Director of LCI in July of this year, with that what contribution do you believe District 133, through Teresa, can make to the Lions organisation on a global scale over the next couple of years?
Well, I'm very excited about having future ID, Teresa, working with us on the board. And I was very disappointed it didn't happen last year, but we're moving forward now. I think your voice is so important on the board. I mean, obviously an international director works as a member of a global board, and they make decisions based on what's good for Lions all around the world. But to hear the input with the perspective of Europe, with the perspective of the Lions of Ireland, is a unique opportunity for us having Teresa come on board. You are a new district, you are young, you are fresh, you are open to change. And for Teresa to be able to bring that perspective to the board and say, you know, look, here's how we've been thinking about it, let me share with you, is invaluable. Never mind Teresa's personal gifts and talents on the board. We are so looking forward to having her perspective and her input on all our decision making.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my people that putting forward the questions. And Teresa, did you want to? Did I see you unmuting?
Yes.
Teresa, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, District Governor Des. Thank you, Third Vice International President Patti, for that wonderful presentation. It certainly was inspiring, informative, and so relevant to the times that we are in at the moment. It was an immense pleasure for us to have you here this afternoon. As you said, communication is key in all walks of life, and being part of an international entity, that is really important. And to be able to have you here this morning without leaving your own home to bring us your presentation has been fantastic. I know it's disappointing that we didn't meet in person, but in the new time we're in, as we've already discussed, we are learning how we can still continue to keep in touch and to be with one another in new ways. And I know from your words last night as well as this morning, that is something that you really appreciate and you see us embracing as an organisation into the future. Now, the biggest thing, of course, is that we really appreciate the significant time difference last night and also this morning for you, and still your commitment to attend has really been so appreciated here. Now, I am personally really pleased to thank you on behalf of all of us in District 123, and particularly myself, in the fact that I can take up the deferred role of International Director from last year, and so looking forward to having the opportunity to serve with you and work with you going forward. So I'm going to chance this and see how we get on. In our native Irish language, I would like to say to you, Gur Mahagat, Gadiga Muli Mid Lakela Arish, Funat Swalte. And what that actually means is, thank you very much. Until we meet again, please stay safe. Thank you, Dr. Patti.
Thank you. Thank you so much.